Welcome back. Today we are making mulled wine. Now before we get into the mulled wine, I can't take credit for this. This is my mother's recipe, but it's so delicious. It reminds me of home and I'm going to share it now with you. So you're all very lucky to have this recipe. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and let's get to it. What you're going to need for your yummy mulled wine. You're going to need 2 bottles of dry red wine. Something like Cabernet is great. Also, don't break the bank on the wine. Middle of the road is perfect. It hasn't failed me yet. And there's no sense in spending all the money on the wine when we're going to infuse it with all of these great flavors. So we have the 2 bottles of dry red wine. Then you're going to need a half cup of brandy, 2 lemons, an orange. You're going to need 10 cloves and 5 cardamom pods. I just put them in a little bit of a cheesecloth. If you have, those little infusers that you can put in tea, throw them in there, pop it in, because we are going to remove this a little later. You're going to need 2 cinnamon sticks, 1 1/4 cups of water, and 1 1/4 cups of regular white sugar. And that is what you need for your delicious wine. So what we're going to do first, we are going to start by zesting the citrus, by zesting this giant orange and lemon, and these 2 lemons. Mulled wine is so good. It's perfect for these cold evenings that we have, but also it just reminds me of home. It's lovely and your whole house smells good. This will keep warm in a crock pot or a slow cooker if you have one. Also, you can just leave it on the stove and warm it up when you need it, when people come over. Now with the holidays, as they say over here, with the holidays being a little different this year, it might be a nice thing to drop off on someone's, a friend's doorstep if you can't actually get into giving them that holiday squeeze that we're all so used to, but we will get through this. The mulled wine will get us through this. So when you're zesting, you want to avoid throwing the orange in the pot. When you're zesting, you want to avoid the white, a lot of that white pith, because that can be a little bitter. And this is a gigantic orange. Now onto my lemons. Get an arm workout in here. Zest of my lemons. Now that we have zested our citrus, we are going to juice it right into the pot. Just going to juice it. It is a little bit of a process to make this, I'm not going to lie, but it's definitely something you can make ahead of time, and I always think the second day is better on the likes of mulled wine and sangrias and stuff, after the flavors really get a chance to muddle together, to sit with each other. Now that all of our citrus has been juiced and zested, you can throw in your little spice packet, and then you can also add your water and your sugar. And then we are going to put this, finally turn the heat on, put it on a low simmer for about 15 minutes until it reduces by 1/3. And you can also throw in your 2 cinnamon sticks. And then when warming up, you just want to warm it up and keep an eye on it, because you don't ever want it to boil, because that'll boil out the alcohol, and we're drinking it for a couple of reasons, but the main one being the alcohol. Now this has definitely reduced by about 1/3. And now you can add your alcohol. So we are going to add in our half cup of brandy. And then our 2 bottles of wine. I wore black on purpose because me and red wine can't be trusted on the best of days. Now with this, it'll take a couple of minutes for it to come up to simmer, but once it hits that simmer, turn it off and pour yourself a big glass. It's definitely important once you add your brandy and your wine to just stand here and watch the beauty of the wine all come together, because you want it to come to just a simmer and then we're going to turn all of the heat off. Oh my God, this smells so good. You can see it's pretty close now. The smell is just radiating from my pot. You can see right around the edge, it's just starting to go. It's starting to bubble a little bit. Now we are absolutely at a simmer, you can just see. And now we turn it off. Turn it off the heat. Give it a stir. You can probably let it cool for about 5-10 minutes so you don't scald your guests. And at this point you can remove your little spice packet and your cinnamon sticks. Now you can use the cinnamon sticks as garnish too, for those lucky people to get the first 2 glasses. To garnish, I just put some cloves in an orange slice, in the biggest orange on the planet. I'll pop it in my wine glass. I'm going to give this about 5 minutes to cool before I serve it. But it's just a really delicious mulled wine recipe, and I hope you love it. I hope you love it as much as I do. I hope it gives you all the warm holiday feelings that I'm feeling about this drink. Let's serve this up. I just have a ladle. This is always messy business, isn't it? I guess I'll just throw it in it. You can always serve this in a mug as well, so you don't need the little napkin around, so you won't burn your guests. I do have some exciting news. I have created some recipe packets, some recipe cards in collections of 10. So I have some big batch cocktails, some big and boozy cocktails, light and fruity. I'm sure there's somebody in your life who is a bit of a cocktail enthusiast, especially throughout all of this quarantine. Everybody has been experimenting with more things. So I have these cards for sale over on Etsy. I'll leave a link down for you below. And I would be absolutely honored if you chose my recipes to gift your friends and family for this holiday season. Thank you so much for taking the fuss out of fancy with me, and we'll see you next time. Cheers! What you're going to need for all of this, you're going to need 2 liters,